How's it going, everyone? King Blacktooth here again with another deck highlight for you. Now it is another monster deck, but it's not the same as the previous one. It's got different strategies. Now, one thing I did want to say at the forefront of this video is that if you're trying to build a deck which doesn't follow the lines of one of the 4 common strategies we've seen for the deck so far, for the factions, and that being the monster weather orientated deck, the Scoia'tael Mahakam Guard style deck, the Skellige Medic style, and the Northern Realms Foltest with Musters style decks. If you're building a deck which doesn't really follow in from that, then it's going to be pretty difficult because the cards just aren't really there for us yet to do a massively well comboed, well rounded deck that doesn't at least pull a bit of strategy from all the other sources a little bit. So hopefully we'll get some more cards at Gamescom that we can put onto the Gwent database and start to bring up some more interesting decks. But this one tried to avoid the weather orientated thing, so it's interesting enough for me to give it a bit of a look at. So it's a monster deck and it's called the Wild Hunter Coming, and it was made by TheManticoreAmongUs, who actually sent it in for me to analyse, which I do encourage. Obviously I can't do them all because they are similar. You know, Mahakam Guard one to another Mahakam Guard one is pretty similar, so I won't do them all. But let's go through it, shall we? So here we are in the Gwent database with the Wild Hunter Coming deck by TheManticoreAmongUs. We've got a Lasagna on the right. The leader card he's chose is not Lasagna, it is Eredin, which is a 15 strength hero. So you play your leader card and you get a 15 strength hero for free, which is pretty nice. Now a lot of people are choosing Dagon because it really fits with the weather orientated deck that they build, but this one is less focused on that, so Eredin could still be pretty good, 15 strength that they can't do anything about. And this deck is mainly built around just getting big numbers on the board, big amount of strength, and basically just brute forcing your way through the game, if possible. So here's this deck. We have quite an even split between the melee row and the siege row, with a little bit on the range row. Now the melee row is quite a standard monster melee row, really, mostly consistent of Wild Hunt cards, which also have the Frostwalker ability, so they get doubled in Frost. So you've got Wild Hunt Riders, Wild Hunt Warriors, and things that combo with that. So Nithral will pull out some more Wild Hunt Warriors from your deck. We've got Coranthir, which will make a copy of all Wild Hunt cards. And we've got Imlerith, which will cast a Frost, which will really beneficial, and create 2 Wild Hunt Hounds with the Frostwalker. So very standard melee row. We've also got the Ice Giant, which is quite a lot of strength, and we'll go on to him later because I think he's going to be very useful for what we're coming up next. So on the range row and the siege row, we have quite a few cards which have no ability whatsoever, like the Griffin and the Wyvern, which are very specific to monster deck at the moment. We don't have many cards in the whole Gwent database which have no ability, but 8 strength is pretty good. They'll go to 16 with Commander's Horns. But they're mostly here to double up with the Alchemist. Now the Alchemist has the Inspire Fresh Recruits ability, and this will double the strength of all cards which do not have an ability. And from our first impressions, the Alchemist should stack with Commander's Horns. So you'll place the Alchemist down and double the Wyvern to 16, and then you place Commander's Horns down and double them from 16 to 32. And the reason we believe this is because it doesn't mention anything about a glyph in the description. Okay, whereas Commander's Horn says place an Inspire glyph on the row. So we don't have any evidence that this is happening, but this is what we get from the description. If it doesn't do this, then the Alchemist is absolute garbage, because the Alchemist only doubles the strength of non-ability units, but a Commander's Horn doubles the strength of all cards which are non-heroes. So there's no reason to take Alchemist if it doesn't stack with Commander's Horn. So for now we believe it does, but they're really good for these non-ability cards here. Next we have this dragon here. This is really just to keep control of the enemy siege row. In this deck we're going to keep control of the enemy melee row easily with Biting Frosts. We haven't got anything to deal with the range row, however, so that's going to be an issue. We have no Impenetrable Fogs. We do have something later which I do want to go on to later about that. We have the Crones. We've got 3 Crones. They're all character cards, so that's 3 character cards you're taking up there. They are siege, which is pretty good, and they're 7 strength each with muster. So when you put one out, they'll all come out. Now, they're pretty good because they will get defended quite easily from the Ice Giant, unbuffed, and the Wyvern and the Griffin, unbuffed. So they're really going to get easily defended from Scorch, which is really good. Now, one thing is, all the cards aren't in the Gwent database yet, but we've seen 3 witches, which are character cards, and they're all 8 strength each. So 3 8 strength witches, which have muster ability as well, are just like a power creep above the crones, really. Now, the only downfall that you might say about the witches is that they're 3 melee cards of 8 strength. And melee seems to be the row which is going to be the most dangerous to be on. A lot of people are building melee orientated decks and putting Frost on there and Scorching and stuff, so melee is quite dangerous, so you might want to sacrifice that 3 strength just for the siege, because siege is seemingly quite safe at the moment. Although a lot of people are increasingly taking this guy. But yeah, the witches just seem like a bit of a power creep on the crones, really. Although they are on siege, which is always good. The witches are also neutral, so. And finally we have Leshen, which will summon 3 wolves and 1 bear, as well as being 5 strength himself. Now, the wolves and the bear, I'm not sure what strength they've got. Don't know what row they go on either. I think they might go on the siege row. It'd be a bit weird to go on the melee row when Leshen's on siege himself, but if they go on the melee row, then they're going to get nerfed, because they're not going to have the Frostwalker ability, though the Biting Frost that are pretty much always going to be in play is going to hurt them. So I'll try and find out where the wolves and the bear, what row they go on. But if they go on the melee, it's going to be bad. Special card wise, we've got some Commander's Horns here, which are going to be really good to double up with the Alchemist, as well as you can double up the Frostwalker, double in Frost, and then double Commander's Horn again. So these guys can get to 12, these guys can get to 24 each, so really, really good. This guy can get to 1632, so he's going to be really, really good as well. Now we've got 3 Biting Frost, I want to come on to those later. But he's also put mushrooms into the deck. Now, mushrooms I don't think are going to be that good in this deck, because everything really is above 4 strength, because they're pretty much always going to be Biting Frost. Apart from these guys, mushrooms are good for those, but that's really it. Everything else benefits more from Commander's Horns. Now, if we get a, say, Impenetrable Fog and these go down to 1 strength, mushrooms are going to do better for them, but really not that much. Because the mushrooms go on at the very end, so you can't put these down to 1 strength from, say, if they get fogged, and then put the mushrooms on and then double it. It doesn't work like that. They go down to 1, and then they double with him, and then you add 4. So they turn from, instead of 1 strength, they'll turn to 6, which is okay, but I really think the Commander's Horn would benefit the overall deck much better. So they should be either Commander's Horns or maybe decoys to reuse him, or reuse him or something. I'm always liking decoys, so reuse opponent's spies and stuff, so maybe switch those out for Commander's Horns or decoys, in my opinion. Now, Biting Frost, they're very, very important. You need Biting Frost in this deck for the melee row, of course, but there is no reason whatsoever that those should be Biting Frost. They should be White Frost. White Frost is a monster-specific card where you can choose between Biting Frost and Impenetrable Fog. Now, I understand in this deck there's no reason you'd want Impenetrable Fog, because you're just going to nerf yourself, but the choice is always good. You may not get any Griffins, in which case you've got a completely blank ranged row, so, you know, the choice is good. It's worth being there, really. So they should all be White Frost, and when I do the card draw test, I am going to change them to White Frost. The only reason that you might not have White Frost, and you might have Biting Frost instead, is if you don't get White Frost at the beginning of the game when the game releases, and you have to earn them through card packs. But apart from that, they should definitely be White Frost. So the TheManticoreAmongUs has chosen to put Epidemics in. For this reason, it's because you plan to have the highest strength on the board, really, with all these 8 strengths turn to 16s, and maybe 32s and stuff, and all these 7 strengths. So you want the highest strength on the board, but you don't really have the lowest strength on the board. It might be Nithrel, or possibly the Alchemists, which are the lowest strength. They're 2. You might get some 1 strength with Biting Frost on the opponent and stuff, so I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that works out, to be honest. Because if you've got an Alchemist down, if something is 1 or 0 strength, it's usually not worth taking off. Like prize winning cows, 0 strength healers, you know, stuff like that. So you'd have to be very careful with these 2 strengths. It just made me think that Nithrel will actually get nerfed by Biting Frost, because he doesn't have the Frostwalker ability. At least he doesn't say he does, but it seems a bit odd, to be honest. Okay, yeah, and finally, he's put in the Caretaker. Okay, the Caretaker is a disloyal card, 8 strength hero, so they can't be reused, which is nice. It's unfortunate that it's a hero, to be honest, because it is a melee card. If it wasn't a hero, it could be reused against you, which would be quite bad, but then at least you'd offset the strength, because then the Bite and Frost that you've got in play would get nerfed. Well, he would get reduced to 1 strength, so it's unfortunate. And his ability is to take any non-hero unit from the opponent's graveyard and play it instantly. So that sounds pretty good. The problem with this card, I think everyone agrees it's not that good because 8 strength is quite a high price, is that it's very inconsistent. You don't know what the opponent's going to play, and this deck is mostly built around just big strength, and you're already -8 down on the deal at the moment. So no matter what you pull out of the opponent's graveyard, it's not really going to do that well. There's not many non-hero cards which are over 8 strength. You've got like maybe Trollolo you could pull out. He's 12 strength. He's non-ability, so he'd work really well with the Alchemist. The problem is that he's a melee card, so he would be placed on this row, which will pretty much always have Bite and Frost on it. So Trollolo is not going to work. Yeah, there's just not many cards that really would work well for pure strength reasons. So the only reason to play this is to pull out an ability. And what abilities can we choose, really? If you pull out a medic, then really you're just giving them 8 strength to pull some out of your own discard pile, because most medics are 0 strength for the most part, so that's not going to be that great. There's a couple of character cards which could do really well. Musters won't work at all unless it's a mirror match. If it's a mirror match, then he's going to be really interesting. You'll get some very interesting plays. Like, for example, if the opponent it was a mirror match and the opponent played a crone, and then they all went to the discard pile later, and you're unfortunate you didn't get any crones in your hand, then you could steal one of their crones and muster all your crones from your deck, which is really interesting. The problem with that is, you know, it's rare that you've got like a 1 in 4 chance of getting a mirror match, and even then, it just seems so situational and so unreliable that it's not really worth it. You are giving them 8 strength as well, so for the most part it's not really worth it. I would have liked to see Geralt Swordmaster there, I think. Just a 15 strength, combo it with Eredin, that's already 30 strength for heroes they can't do anything about, which is really, really cool. So, he's interesting. I do like the card, he is really interesting, but I don't think he's quite worth it with the 8 strength that you're giving the opponent. I think a lot of people expect that, so hopefully we'll see a nerf or something, so he comes down to maybe 6 or 5 strength. So you're giving them 5 strength and then you're pulling something out, so it's still a bit more advantageous for you. Obviously you could steal like the Skellige and Power card, but again that is very situational that you're fighting a Skellige deck. Yeah, so we're going to do the card draw test now, as we always do, but I am going to change the Bite and Frost to White Frost during it. So here we are in Cockatrice. We're going to be trying to do some card draws to check out consistency. I've changed the Biting Frost to White Frost because it's just clearly better. And I put in Geralt Swordmaster in the sideboard in case I want to do anything with him later. But for now, we've got the basic deck. And let's see how it goes. So, I'm going to have to pull out Eredin. Where is he? There he is. Okay. So, let's see if we come across any problems. We've got an Epidemic and an Ice Giant, a White Frost, which is really good. So we've got a nice few things going. We've got a Wyvern. We need to check whether we've got an Alchemist to go with them. We do, so they're okay. Mushroom, Dragon, Wild Hunt. So really, I haven't got much in terms of stuff that's usable. Let's redo this guy, a Dragon. I don't want to do him. Draw card. Alchemist again, not really that good because I've only got 1 Wyvern. I want another Wyvern if possible. Right, we've got a Griffin. Now, that may be good, but I've only got 1 Alchemist, so it's not actually that good. So I could risk putting some else back. Let me just see if there's anything else. Mushrooms. To be honest, I got 1 Crone, which is good, 1 Wild Hunt. I really kind of do want to put something back. I'm going to put back the mushrooms and see if I can get something else better. I don't feel like this is a great card draw. Two Griffins. Okay, so a little bit better. We've got 2 for the Alchemist now. So, our card draws are finished. We did our 3 redraws. Let's start by we'd put in something like Wild Hunt Warriors first. I don't think it'd get scorched this early on. We would maybe do Ice Giants, because that will protect against this guy. Maybe Crones, so all the Crones will come out. We didn't get any Wild Hunt Riders, which is unfortunate. Okay, so I've got 3 Crones. We've got a lot of strength on here, actually. We've got 1 Commander's Horn. These are range. So we're splitting ourselves across all 3 rows pretty heavily, actually. With the Griffins and the Alchemist. So this Commander's Horn can go on any row. It'll take a bit more time to sort of work out which row is best. We do need a White Frost on the main row. And Wyvern there. And that's pretty much all my cards. So we'd have to split that up between 2 rounds, you know. So that's going to be hard. It's not that easy. Because, you know, what's my lowest strength? It'd be the Alchemist. The Alchemist is always a good card to stop Epidemic, I suppose. But you do lose a big buff if they Epidemic him. But Scorch, we're pretty fine. It's going to be the Ice Giant that goes. Although the Griffins might go now. Actually, the Griffins and the Ice Giant are all the same strength, so that's actually quite bad in my opinion. I'm going to do it again because there's not much to tell from that one. Ready to start. Alright, Eredin, out you come. We never actually put Eredin in last time, did we? Alright, let's see our card draw. Right, we've got 2 Wild Hunt Warriors, that's really good. A Wyvern, I'm going to put it here just for display purposes. And we do have an Alchemist to go with it, which is really good. Oh, we've got 2 Wyverns, that's really nice. We've got a Griffin, so we've only got 1 Alchemist to split between them. We've got a Wild Hunt Rider and a Crone Whisper. So this is actually a really good hand. And we've got Mushrooms again. I don't know. I think if that was a decoy, it could be useful. I mean, I could put the other Nifril, you know, pick him up, put him back down. We do have 2 already, so there's no point in doing that. But that means I could put one of those out if I wanted to. I actually would prefer if that was Commander's Horn just in general, actually. I think so. Because, I mean, none of my cards are actually, you know, that bad. Okay. But that's okay. Caretaker. I don't know what to do about that. In this card draw, I can't pretend to know what the opponent has, so I can't really make use of that. Because I have no idea what the opponent could have. I could just pick out any card in the whole of Gwent that is a non-hero and pretend that was the card. So I'm going to put him back and just redraw that one, pretending that one didn't exist. Because that was pretty good, but I mean, I would probably have kept that, to be honest. But okay, White Frost is good. We needed one of those. That was pretty good, but I mean, I just can't. There's no theory behind that right now because I have no opponent. Okay, so what would we do? I'm going to say, let's say for the example, we're going to use our leader card immediately. 15 strength. See if we can't make him pass really early. There we go. So we've got Eredin on the board. 15 strength hero, which is really nice. Don't think he'll stack with Alchemist. It does. I think it only does non-heroes. It does say all, but I don't think anything should affect heroes. Okay, that's good. Let's see what else we can do. So everything we put on now is still subject to, you know, scorches and stuff. So we put on a Wild Hunt Warrior, I think, and probably do a White Frost at this point. So that's frosted. The hero card works really well with that as well, which is really good. And we don't want to put another Wild Hunt Warrior straight on because I don't want them all to get scorched. There's not really a way we can protect against that, is there? Because he's 12 damage now. There's no way to make 12 damage over, is there? Could have done it with the mushrooms. No, I couldn't. I could have matched it with the mushrooms, which would have been bad. I mean, if I put the Griffin down, that would beat it if it wasn't frosted. But yeah, let's just say that's the end of the round. That's probably as far as I would have gone. Actually, I would have probably not put that down. I would have to put the Warriors down, wouldn't I? Because I haven't got a frost for next turn. But I have to do that and pull out another one. I could really go all in on this first round, couldn't I? Because I don't have a frost for the next round. So basically, my whole hand is split between frosting on round 1 or round 3 or whatever, and then Alchemist in the next round. So they're my 2 strategies for this whole deck. The Crones can be used whenever, but otherwise it's just Frosting on one deck, one round, and Alchemist on the second round. And that is the whole game there. I mean, it worked. I mean, I've got a reasonable strength. I feel like somewhat reasonably they could catch me out. Everything seems to go up to the same strength when you start Frostwalker in or Alchemist in them. They all seem to go up to 16 strength, which is going to be not bad, I don't know. White Frost, Wild Hunt, Commander's Horn, Epidemic, Wyvern, Alchemist, very nice. Commander's Horn, a thing and a thing and a thing. Right, we'll get rid of this guy. I never keep that guy, mainly because he's good to have in your deck, but when you don't know, if you don't know what your opponent is playing, then he's not that good. I mean, I can't just make up that the opponent is always playing Northern Realms or something. We've got another Crones. I mean, yeah, so we'll have to get rid of her. This is my second redraw. 2 Griffins. Okay, we've got one more redraw. We've got 1 Weather, 2 Commander's Horns, which is really nice. I think we'll leave it about there. 1 Epidemic should be alright. So we'll start the game with... We have to choose. Do we want to Alchemist this particular round, or do we want to Frost this particular round? We can start by using Eredin. And by using Eredin first, we can sort of see if he plays a melee card. If he plays a melee card, we can start saying, right, we want to Frost then, because then we're going to nerf him while also buffing ourselves. So if he plays a melee card, then we start going some Frost. Okay, this might make him stop playing melee cards immediately, which is obviously the issue. If he starts switching now, because he saw Wild Hunt Warrior, you know there's going to be a Frost coming. You might switch off the melee road quickly. So maybe I should have held him back and just placed maybe a Wyvern. I've only got 1 Alchemist, I've got 2 Griffins, so I'm definitely going to use it on them. So maybe I'll place the Wyvern first, just to make him play some more melee cards, you know? Something like that. And then we place a Wild Hunt Warrior. At this point, the Wyvern is protecting the Wild Hunt Warrior, which is really nice. We could Commander's Horn. At this point, we'd want to Commander's Horn the Wyvern down here like this. Because he's the only Frost person I've got. So maybe I'm playing a double bluff. You think I've got loads of Frost people? I don't. You know, I've only got 1. But now he's going to be 16, so he's totally protected against that. We'll White Frost the melee, so he's 12. So the Wyvern is still protecting. And if the game's going really hard, you know, they're pushing me really hard, then we'll stick out the Crones. Because they're going to go so much strength, it's going to be ridiculous. But they are still protected. They're protected by the Wyvern, which is the whole reason why you take the Crones over the Witchers in this case. If I had Witchers, which were 8 strength, then the Wyvern and the Crones would all be the same strength and be Scorched. But for now, the Crones are 7 strength instead of 8. So the Witchers are. So they're really good for this situation. So they're going to be like 14, 21, 28, and then 35, 42 strength, plus another 16. What was that? 42 plus 16. So that's 58. No, is it 50? Yeah, 58. That's 58 strength there with a nice amount there. So we've got about... Oh, wait, no, wait. That's 58 plus 6 is 64. Plus another 6 is 70. Plus 15, 85. We've got 85 strength on the board with the possibility of reducing the opponent's strength. If we really need to, we could Commander's Horn that row, but I wouldn't really want to. We've still got a card Epidemic. I think all my cards are really, really high strength, so Epidemic could probably work really well now, to be honest. The next row, right, we can do, I believe it was, oh, I don't want to untap, there we go. So, we've got how many cards on the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 non-hero cards. And we rolled a 3, so 1, 2, 3. The Brewess stays on, everyone else disappears. Okay, so the Brewess, she's not going to do anything special, she's just nice strength, keep on the board, which is really good. I don't think there was a better alternative. I mean, the Wyvern would have been 1 more strength, but the Wyvern and the Griffins are on 2 different rows, so it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so at this point, what would we do? We'd place down the Griffin just to protect the Crone. Now the Crone is protected. we would... Oh, the crow needs to be there, and down the range row. At this point, yeah, we protect things from the back with the alchemist, then we commander's horn, and then we place the extra griffin, and that'll be my end of the game. You know, so I'd try and bait them to scorch that one griffin first, and then place that one at the immediate end. You don't want to place it early, because then they get both. Okay, so that would be the end of that. Now, one thing, I only normally do 3 card draws, and I've done 3 card draws now. Something that I've seen is I didn't really get a whole lot of Wild Hunt cards, apart from the second round, in which case I didn't get many heroes any time during it. I don't think 3 card draws is enough to really get to know a deck a lot. But I didn't get, Caranthir a lot, I didn't get Imlerith at all. Caretaker I got once, and I forget who my other hero is. Leshen, I didn't get him at all. So there's quite a few cards which I didn't get. If I did get Caranthir, it might not be worth it, to be honest, because my deck's so filled with different types of cards which are not Wild Hunt that I think he's probably not worth it. He's not going to give you enough oomph, enough bang for your buck. If you've got Caranthir, you're probably going to want Wild Hunt Riders and like 2 Wild Hunt Warriors as well, and maybe Imlerith, and that's a lot to ask. So I don't think Caranthir is probably going to be a great one to go for. There might be some other hero that you can switch in, which would work really well. I'm thinking, what if you did like Zoltan Tamer, sorry, where he adds 2 to everyone on the row? Because if you can add 2 to these griffins, then they could be 10, and they'd protect against everything then, wouldn't they? You know? Stuff like that. Because there's quite a lot of things which sort of meld into the same strength when you Commander's Horn one row and then you Alchemist the other. Everything sort of goes into the 16 strength range. Whereas if you plus 2, you get decent strength, and Zoltan also gives you some nice strength. Maybe. I'm just throwing out ideas here. But yeah, so that's it for this deck. Hope you enjoyed the kind of idea. Obviously this deck is going to be one which you'd switch cards in and out based on more cards coming out at Gamescom and such. So I can't wait to see more cards there. Let me know what you thought of this deck and how it worked, if you'd have changed anything. I probably would have changed the mushrooms out, Commander's Horns, maybe a decoy or something. Because at the minute I don't think you've got any card advantage in this deck. So you're going to probably run out of cards a lot quicker than your opponent. Because they're going to have decoys, they're going to have spies and stuff. So you're the one that's going to run out of cards here. So they can wait for you know, clear weathers and all that other stuff more than you can wait. But until then, take care guys, and I'll see you next time.